we're going to add in another section which kind of expands on what we've done here. And this is going to be so much more easy than what we did before. In fact, what we did before was easy as well. I'm just going to go over here and I'm actually just going to hit duplicate and make an exact copy of what we've done before. Because I'm actually going to replicate the style of it with a slight few modifications. So there's no need to start completely from scratch. It's almost like your section above was a template for you to reuse. Why not use it? So I'm going to go over here, and where we have column 2, I'm going to switch it with column 1. There are many ways to do this. I could either pick up column 2 and move it and swap it like that, or if I undo, down here we have the navigator. If I go to the navigator and go to my final section, we have column 1 and column 2. I can pick column 2 up and I can swap it again like that. So go with the method that kind of works the best for you in terms of how you want to approach this. Right, so we've got our wording over here and we've got our image. I'm going to click here into this image and I'm now going to switch it to be the slightly darker image like that. Now this is a slightly different size as well, 2560 by 17070. So let's just make it a proper square mirror image. Let's hit the edit image. Let's click crop like that. And when I start to move it from the side here, can you see the value down there started changing over here? So let's just, oopsie daisy, got to make sure Bertha doesn't activate at that point. Let's just put it to 1710. And now I'm going to go for something like that. Let's get that nice little look of the cat there feeling all happy. Let's hit crop. And then we hit save. Now, when we insert that image, we will have it as the square size. Now, there is something I didn't mention in the previous video, and I will mention it now. We know that these images, okay, when we go to style, are 225 by 225 in their width. If we go back into the image, okay, we go to content and we go to style, we know it's 225. At the minute, though, it's 1708. I know I set it to 1710, but don't worry about the slight pixel differences there. 1708 by 1708 for an 88 kilobyte image is quite big if it only is ever going to be 225 pixels in width and height. So we might as well edit that image. And what you want to do is over here where it says scale, I'm going to just, whoopsie daisy, I'm just going to type 225 like that and hit scale. That is now scaled to be 225. Let's now hit back. Can you see the image size there? It is now 6 kilobytes. We just went from 80 odd kilobytes to 6. If you care about your page speed performance and how quick your images load on your website, I strongly recommend you do that. So I've done it there and I'm now very quickly going to go back to this image, go to content. This is 200 kilobytes. That's pretty hefty, right? Let's hit edit image and let's scale this now to be 225 as well. Hit scale, hit back. And that is now 6 kilobytes as well. I'm just going to hit update and refresh the page. And you haven't lost the quality of the image whatsoever. So, you know, think about it. We now have 2 images, total 12 kilobytes in size. Please do take a bit of time and attention when you do things like that. Right, let's just go down here. So we got our wording, we got our image. I'm now going to modify this, the shadow effect on this image. Let's go down to style. We go to box shadow, and instead of having the black color, I'm now going to go for a dark color instead. I'm just going to go over here to my site settings, go to my global colors, and I'm going to pick the secondary color here. So we'll just pick that hex code up like that. Go to our box shadow, and I'm now going to put that color in. There we go. Excelento. And now I'm going to modify the positioning of it. I don't want it to sit that side. So I'm now just going to kind of like just put it in over here, and we're going to go to 25-ish again like that. And I could maybe move the shadow to be below as it is, or maybe even make it higher. I think it works okay like that. And I've also had a change of mind of color as well. I'm going to make it a lighter color. The darker color I felt was just way too powerful there and was starting to blend in a little bit with the image. So I got a bit of a different color there. Now let's change our text that we have here. I am going to just take a copy of this just in case I need to reuse it. I'm going to delete, And I'm going to pull through Bertha again. And what we're going to do is go back, we're going to put it on the website tab, and we're going to go down again, and we're going to go to paragraph generator. In fact, we won't go to paragraph generator. We're going to go to service product benefit list, okay? So I've added in some fake text. Great for cats, calm down anger, 60 days it lasts for, spray on objects, and it's approved by international experts. Let's see what Bertha generates for us. Because rather than me just using another paragraph, I want to kind of have now like a bullet point almost, or a list of what these, what the benefits are. So here we go, look. And this has now nicely kind of rearranged it for us. I quite like this one here. Right, this, you know, I think this works well for me. So I'm just going to click that, like that, and it's added it in. Now, I will mention that Bertha does sometimes kind of slightly, not modify, the order, it might put the number order together, but that's easy for you to modify once you get it into your text editor, as we have. Now, there is something here I do like where it says reduces stress and anxiety in cats. Can be used on various objects as well. Now, I'm going to click that as well. So I now have put through 2 of them. So some of them are duplicate items. Let me just click over here, close down Bertha. Let's now just modify what we've got over here. Let me expand on this list a little bit. Bertha has given me the ability to have 6 bullet points done. I just put some random words in. You could argue that I could have come up with that as well, but she has written it in such a nice way that it now works better for me. Now, the wording we have here is a lot bigger now, and the image here looks quite small now. So let's make this look a lot better. One of the things I could do is just kind of increase the boxed width. But when I do that, I'm actually going to be pulling the image and the words further away from one another, which is what I don't want. So I'm just going to go over here to the text, and I'm going to shrink the text down now. Because we've made our kind of statement over here about what it does, but with the benefits, I'm going to shrink this down. So I'm going to put this down to be about 1.1 like that. I'm then going to go over to the section, and I'm now going to increase the width. Now, if we go for something like that, okay, you can now see that looks a little bit better. Now, the text is above the image. You can clearly see that. If I go over to my column, and I make sure that the padding is unlinked, so column 2, and I take away the top, it is now almost in line with the text, but it's not perfectly in line. Here's where you might want to go to the top margin, and if I just add in some negative margin, I can just move it up a little bit like that. That is now looking a little bit better than what we had before. So if we now view this on the screen like that, we now have our section, which gives us, says, hey, look, this is what this does. And then we have some further information below, which now is expanding on what we've got there. Luckily, we don't actually have duplication. So where I mention it can be used around children, in the second section down here, it's not replicating that, but it's now giving you some further details. And that was just by us duplicating the section above. Remember, always check how this looks on the mobile. This is super, super important. So what we have here is we have image, text. Then we have text, image. And you might want to say, well, is that kind of the layout you want to go for? I would say it's actually okay. A lot of people tend to go image, text, image, text, image, text. They like to go with that structure. But I think here, having that text alongside the image with a follow-on image afterwards works quite well. So I've zeroed out the margins and the padding for this section, but it is still a little bit too far. So let's click on the column, unlink the padding there, and now by doing that, we've actually removed all of the padding. That does happen when you go to the mobile. So I'm just going to put back in the 30. Oops, sorry, let me just unlink like that. I'm going to leave it a 0 at the top and have 30, 30, 30 like that. So we do have some space, but it's not as bad as having that amount of space from the top there. I felt that was just too far. It starts to feel detached from the section above. So I'm just going to put that as a 0. And what we now have is you got your images above, you got an image there in text, some further text, and then we have another image over there. And that image is in the center. The shadow effect makes it look like it's more to the right, but we're not fussed about that. But overall, okay, when we look at the page now in full view, okay, we get some info, we get told there's a problem, then we got told, hey, looking for a way to calm your cat. And then we get some further details. Now, this is one of those instances where you could have had maybe more images here. You could have had 2 images over here, and then your text would have been more that side. Or you could have had your text over here more to the left side and having 2 images over here. You can flex it around. There's nothing wrong with that. You would just add in another column. Let me just quickly show you that. We're not doing it, but let me show you. If I was to duplicate this column here right now, and we have another image, and I now increase the box width of this, can you see how now we would have to modify the size and the margin and all of that, but we could have had 2 images and some text. It takes a bit more work with the sizing and all of that and the arrangement, but you could mess around and make things like that. It is dead simple for you to get the look you want. And right now we have got another section that we replicated from above with a modified image with the shadow effect, and it's working pretty well in mobile. So far, so good.